Hi guys, Spino here. I know I'm a little bit late, but here are the 4.4 V3 beta changes for Honkai Star Rail, starting from Rin Tosaka. So Rin's skill damage got nerfed. It went from 180% to 160%. Same with her enhanced skill, her AoE and bounce damage went from 90% to 80%. So overall damage nerf on her skill. Her talent also got nerfed. Now she only gives 70 crit damage to the whole team. It used to be 100. So yeah, a little bit of nerf. Now her joint attack got a slight change, not like a change, it's like a buff technically. Now her joint attack can also trigger after Archer fires a fifth arrow. It used to trigger on when you only have 2 skill points on the team, but now you can also trigger after Archer's fifth arrow, so you get 2 joint attacks. And yeah, that's gonna do a lot of damage, by the way, still. And now for her trace, it also got changed. It used to give 20 defense to the whole team, but now it only gives 10 Ruspen to Archer and Rin. So, yay. Now for Eidolon change, her E2 now gives 130 damage to the whole team. It used to be 110. Her E4 got changed. It used to give speed and crit damage, but now it only gives crit damage and it stacks twice. Her E6 also got changed. Her gem energy now is 24% of her gem stacking, I think. Now for her light cone change, now it gives 20 defense rate and 60 skill damage bonus. It used to be like 10 defense rate and it can stack up to like 20 something. So her light cone got a huge buff, by the way. Now I see where the defense went. So that's all for Rin. I think overall Rin did got nerfed, but her light cone got a huge buff. But because her joint attack can now also trigger on Archer's 5th turn, that is a lot of damage. Plus, you do get the refund of 4 skill points. I think that can also trigger both times. So, I don't know, man. Rin changes, we might have to wait. It could be, I think it's a slight nerf for her damage, but for Archer, I don't think it matters that much. But I think it's still a buff for Archer. It could be, I actually don't know. Now for Gilga changes. Gilga got a lot of changes, and overall, I think I'm happy with these changes. Okay, starting for Gilga. His damage to main and adjust targets went from 200 and 100 to 280 and 140. So yeah, it's a disgusting amount of buff. Now his skill does way more damage. Like it's a lot of damage. Okay. Now his ultimate cost went from 600 to 360. So it's like almost cut in half. But his bounce multiplier went from 440 attack to 100. Okay. Now his total bounce damage went from 400% to 1000%. So yeah, now Gilgamesh will hit hard, by the way. Like he will hit hard. And his energy also got cut in half. And there's a reason why. Now his talent, now he only gets interest from his allies. He does not get interest from himself, unfortunately. So that's a slight nerf. So he won't take that much action. But I still think it's not a big deal because it only blocks him from doing the infinite loop. But I mean, we already knew the infinite loop was getting nerfed regardless. So Aho, slight nerf on his talent. But again, it's not an end of the world in my opinion. Now for his joint attack. Now it does not give 200 fixed energy to Saber. It only gives 120 energy, but it also scales with ER rope. So if you give ER rope to Gilga, it will give more energy, maybe like close to 140, 150-ish energy. So yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Now for the best thing, I think Saber's next ultimate deals 200% of the original damage. Yeah, now Saber does not get the 25% action advance. Now she just get that crazy damage percent. And this is better because Saber was always gonna get action advance because of her how her enhanced skill works. So this change is way better. Now her Saber's ultimate will actually hit like a truck. Like this is a great change. I love this because I like Saber as a unit. And this is a huge buff for Saber, by the way. Like huge buff. Now for his trace. It only gives 2 interest when allies use ultimate. It used to give 3, so a slight nerf there. Also, allies gain allies ultimate cost when allies use is now 30%. Now it used to be 80%, so Gilga doesn't get that much energy from allies anymore. So it because of his ultimate got reduced. So It used to give 80 energy to Gilga when allies ultimate, but now Gilga only receives 30 energy when allies ultimate. I think it's like okay, in my opinion. His trace 2 also got changed. It used to give him 120 overflow energy, but it's removed now. But instead, it gives per interest gain up to 12 stacks. He gets crit damage, 25 crit damage up to 6 stacks. So now he gets crit damage stacking. He can gain, how much is that? 25 into 6, how much is that? He gets 300 crit damage. Or is it not? I think, okay, it's not maybe 200. I'm stupid. He gets 150 crit damage if you stack it up to 6 times, by the way. That is a lot, by the way. Okay, his trace 2 is a damage, self-damage buff, unfortunately. Okay, guys, remember, Gilga does not have energy overflow anymore, but instead he gets a stacking crit damage up to 6 times on his trace 2. So he gets 150 crit damage free now. So that's nice for his self-damage, considering he already got a lot of self-buff on his kit, especially on his skills and ultimate. So yeah, now for his trace 2. For each ally max energy exceeding 140, increase their attack and crit damage by 1% up to 100% equal to 60%. Still requires 200 max energy to cap the effect, but the max effect can be attack and crit damage up to 90%. So again, his trace 3 got a slight buff. Okay, slight buff for Archer teams, by the way. It says it's a nerf for Ashvale and Blade teams, but slight buff for Archer teams. For his Eidolon, his self-attack buff is now 60%. It used to be 25%, so E1 also got buffed. His E2 got a slight nerf. He only gains 3 interest from ultimates now. It used to be like 6. I think they are just balancing out his damage and his action advancing, but it's not a big deal. Also, he gets a massive damage bonus on his E2, by the way. Also, his bounce multiplier also got increased on his E2. It used to be like 20%, now it's 30%. So in E2, overall, he got a damage increase, in my opinion. Now for his light cone also got changed. Now it increased the ultimate damage by X amount for every 1 energy consumed up to 72%. Team-wide crit damage after using ultimate is now 24%. So he still gives the thing. So this is actually really good for Saber teams. Again, this is like a slight buff for Saber teams, while a slight nerf, I guess you could say, for Ashvale Blade team. But his Lycon got a slight buff. His overall kit, in my opinion, got buffed. Okay, let's just be honest. His multipliers got buffed. Everything on his kit got buffed, in my opinion. And they also nerfed. I mean, they just adjusted his ultimate, in my opinion, because it went from 600 to now 360. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with Gilga changes. I don't think he got nerfed. I think he just got Giga buffed, especially on his personal damage. He is gonna hit hard, by the way. Considering to Rin, yeah, you might see some Gilga disgusting runs. He might actually be like a solid main DPS now. Now for Himeko Nova, and I don't want to cover her kit because it's so annoying, but hey ho, here is Himeko's changes. Skill, team-wide buff, damage bonus went from 30% to 20%. A nerf. Ultimate energy cost went from 140 to 150. Hyper particle beam AoB damage went from 30% to 40%. These are the slash attacks, by the way. Now for the talent, self crit damage went from 50% to 100%. Okay, that's a buff there on her talent. Clarify, when other allies use assist skill, they regenerate 10 energy. This always existed. Okay, cool. Assist skill went from energy regen went from 20% to 18%. Pretty cool. Verdict mode, ultimate crit damage went from 200% to 100%. Ooh, I don't know about that. But the ultimate bonus crit damage buff is now 100%. So I guess it's fine. But they also removed the 4 energy on the free skill cast. I don't know. Okay, the verdict mode technically got nerfed, I think. I actually don't know. Okay, I think the verdict mode got nerfed like really, really hard. Now for decimation mode, team-wide crit damage and skill damage buff went from 50% to 100%. Pretty cool. Now for her trace changes. Her trace 1 got changed completely. It's a new trace now. At the start of her turn, if the assist skill used are equal, the maximum limit of Himeko Nova regenerate 5 energy. So her energy went to her trace 1. Okay, cool. And now for her E2 Eidolon, her ultimate and skill damage bonus is now 124% of all original damage. So her E2 got a huge buff in damage. Her E6 also got a buff, I think. Okay, her E6 also got buffed in damage. It's like flat damage increase. So yeah. Now for her light cone changes, her light cone completely got changed. So for the new light cone, technically it's a new light cone now. Wearer regenerates 6 energy whenever they use an assist skill. Each stack of sail damage is now equal to skill and ultimate damage. That is 24%. I have no idea what the sail damage is. Okay, don't ask me. I have no idea what it is. Now it can also stack up to a maximum of 3 stack up to a damage bonus of 72%. Okay, I still don't know what Himeko's Lycon does. Okay, don't ask me what Himeko Lycon does, okay? I have no idea. It gives skill and assist damage bonus, and she regenerates energy, I think. I simply have no idea. Okay. Overall, in my opinion, Himeko got slight nerfed, I think. I have no idea. Okay, Himeko's kit, I have no idea, so I'm not even gonna talk about Himeko. But Gilga got buffed 100%, and Rin got slight nerfs on her multipliers. But because her joint attack now also triggers on Archer's 5th turn, I have no idea how impactful it's gonna be. So overall, I'm happy. Gilga's safe and I'm happy. So yeah, that's all for V3 changes. If there's a V4 change, I will be covering that too. So have a great day, guys. Bye. I need to go to work now. Have a great day, Eli.